Good Friday evening. Hello. Hi. How are you? It's good to see you. It's good to be seen by you. Hope everybody's having an absolutely wonderful one. I'm tired. if I'm telling the truth, guys, I'm pretty tired. I got in the car at 12:05 this afternoon, and I did not stop driving until just a hair before 6 o'clock. I put in some hours on the road, let me tell you what, and that kind of takes it out of a fellow. But of course, what fellow am I talking about? But the Dungeon Delver, bringing you this most of the time 5 nights a week of old school RPG goodness, wisdom, humor, and all other sorts of things, companionship, friendship, around hanging. So I hope you're doing well. I hope you are doing well. Greetings, Dungeon Minister. And so, wow, a wall of text there from Jack Photon. Running your first game in 30 plus years for strangers at a sci-fi con. You got a poster to track players, player brief, character sheets, rulebook, screens, dice. I know my module. What else? You got prompts, you got everything. Make sure that sign-up sheet's full, my friend. Make sure that sign-up sheet is full and that you are not going to be sitting there by your lonesome at a table. Otherwise, it sounds to me like you have all the elements for an epic gaming session. And you say it's science fiction, so can I assume this is a little classic FOSSA Star Trek, perhaps, Mr. Photon? By the way, if you guys are interested in what Jack Photon is doing, subscribe to his channel on YouTube. Look up Jack Photon on YouTube. Subscribe to his channel. We're trying to get him up to 1,000 subs. But anyway, I just want everybody to know I'm getting a weird shadow from the lights. I do not, in fact, have a Hitler mustache. I know, Jack, I'm just razzing you, and I always have been. But anyway, Cheetos and Mountain Dew. Did St. Augustine to Orlando in 4 hours once. I didn't leave the Metro Orlando area. I drove from my house to a brief distance away to get gas and snacks for the drive and some things for my wife, whom I was chauffeuring. Then from here to the airport, where we waited and waited and waited and waited, and then picked up the person, and then meandered from the airport down to the Disney area, and then from the Disney area back to Longwood. And I have to tell you, the second most frustrating part of that drive, the most frustrating part was being on Interstate 4, which, if you have been in the Orlando area, you know is an absolute nightmare. And I was on it at 3:30 on a Friday afternoon. A lot of slow, crawly traffic until I got to Lake Buena Vista. I left LBV because nothing was going west. Got on I-4. It took me 28 minutes to get from LBV back to the beginnings of my neighborhood. At the point I was probably 4 or 5 miles from home, it took me 30 minutes to get back to my house. I sat in traffic on a residential street for nearly half a gosh darn hour. It wasn't fun. It wasn't the least bit fun. So the last hour of my drive was 28 minutes getting from Disney to this end of Seminole County, except for the last 5 miles, which took me another half an hour. Highly frustrating. But these things happen. These things happen. We accept them with good grace and humor, and we continue on in our daily lives. I like that era, Jack. That sounds like fun. So is that the 405 or Highway 101? Yeah, I've heard about the 405. I've heard about I-5, the 405, all that sort of thing. I don't know. I thought about it in retrospect. Maybe it was because I badmouthed the Greek gods so much last night. But we're gonna get it. We're gonna get into deities and demigods tonight at 9:30. We will be kicking off Gemma World. We have 3 of our group is here. 2 of them are out. 1 of them is MIA, and I'm genuinely concerned. So hopefully we'll hear from Lord Corion soon, and he'll come back. But anyway, I want to mention a couple of things, and I know I've been beating the drum on this because I really want to see this order fill, because I know there are 7 people out there who have reservations for Owlbear sets, and 3 more orders. It's $45, but it's 3 miniatures, and one of them's the fabled Chinosaur Owlbear. So jump in on that, because I am closing that on Tuesday. If we don't get the filled orders, we just move on to the next. We just move on to the next. You're attending your annual Synod via Zoom and editing the next episode and listening to the Delver, and I am multitasking and doing none of it well. Well, that's cool. And our next will hopefully entice more people in. But I really would like to see the Owlbear prints all go. Because remember, I don't take money until they're printed up and ready to ship. So it's not like, oh, well, it didn't fill. Too bad. Thanks for the money. No, that's not how I roll. But anyhow, and then next week, we're going to be back on a normal schedule next week. Monday night chat, Tuesday night chat, and AD&D. Wednesday night, hopefully, Kyle will be completely mended, and we can play some Classic Traveler on Wednesday night. Thursday night, chat. Friday night, chat, and Gamma World, and so on. I want to look down the road just a little bit, though, to the future of the next couple months. When I say the future, I don't mean like the future of the show as a whole. I don't plan these things before I do them, by and large, so I don't have some grand plan except to grow things and get more viewers. And by the way, if you're stopping by here just because like you somehow YouTube managed to push me to the forefront, and you followed a hashtag or something here, or you're here from Facebook or from Twitter or from Discord, and you haven't, please click that subscribe button, click the bell icon for notification, give the video a thumbs up if you like the content, give it a thumbs down if you don't. In either case, please leave a comment below. That really helps. But anyway, the future, I would say to the end of the year, look, December's going to get crazy. We're going to be here in December, okay? We're going to be here. We're going to be absorbing that good holiday energy and that positivity, which, hey, dog ear that. We're going to come back to positivity. But the closer we get to Christmas, the more spaced out the schedule might become. All right. So just be aware, and we'll talk more about that when we get there. Now, to the subject of positivity. I have been immersing myself for amusement purposes and for having stuff to listen to when I drive to work to pick up the missus, when I'm puttering around my office. All these various YouTubers who read RPG and D&D horror stories. And both the narrators of these horror stories and the horror stories are multitudinous. And I was having a good discussion with my buddy Don McVitie. He's from he is the head guy in charge over at Hellabard Games. By the way, hellabardgames.com, great old school modules. They got stuff for Osric. They got stuff for Castles and Crusades. They have stuff for 5e. You should absolutely check them out. They published a thing of mine, Temple of the Sun. I believe it is AA1 or AA2, but it is my original WGH2 Temple of the Sun module converted over. It had to be D. Gray Hawkeyes. It ain't his fault, but I approved of it. He treated my baby well. Hello, John David. Yes, we are growing. But anyway, so positivity. There's things on Reddit it's like D&D horror stories or RPG horror stories, and they're very amusing to listen to. And the thing I've noticed is a lot of the guys who read these posts and then go, "Can you believe that? Let's continue," and then offer a little bit of insight on how that could have gone better, how that could have gotten fixed, how that could have gotten solved. Is a lot like you will hear the same stories over and over and over again, because the more popular ones, the ones that get like thousands of upvotes and Reddit awards and stuff like that, people want to hear those. I want to do something different. No shaved over it. I want to do something different, though. I want to start doing pre-recorded videos like that, but they're from the Negaverse or the Posiverse, whichever. I don't know where I'm going to put up this repository. I'm not going to do it on Reddit. I don't know yet. I don't know what the catch pan would be. But I'm going to start doing some pre-recorded content for real. But what I would like is RPG positivity. Don't tell me about the creep that wrecked 3 of your campaigns because he couldn't stop being a dillhole. Don't tell me about the guy who, showed up in a Confederate battle flag t-shirt and made snide comments to the guy who was playing a drow about people of color. Don't tell me about the dude who creeped on and stalked one of the women who plays it. I want to hear the positive stories, the triumphant stories. And I don't mean ironically triumphant, like it's all bad and it only has a good ending because you kicked the bad out. And I'll figure, you email them to me. You can private message just your great D&D stories. That's what I would like to share with the world at large. Positivity, because there's too much negativity. There's too much ugliness. Folks, we are coming into a time when our little corners of the earth may be all we have of each other. All right. You ever see a team huddle up in a tight time, like not even on the field, but on the sidelines in a football game? And they got their arms around each other, and the coach is leaning in, and he's talking really serious to his players. He's not screaming. He's not freaking out. And he's telling them, this is where we dig deep, guys. That's what I want to do for our corner of the hobby. So I'm going to, like I said, I'll figure out some kind of repository. And we'll do that, and I'll make content, and you guys can read it and enjoy it or not. So, you know, and I'm not talking about sunshine and rainbows, right? I mean, you know, if you beat the bad guy by setting off a nuclear bomb in his base, I mean, but triumphant stuff, good stuff. I'm going to start it off. I'm going to start it off right now, tonight, live. And I'm going to tell you this. And don't worry, we're going to read Deities and Demigods. We're going to have plenty of time. Don't worry. This has been about 5, 6, 7 years ago. Is it that long? 2017. Oh my gosh, yeah. So I'm down at Gods and Monsters. And they had a big play area at that time. And I had my tables set up. And I had built out the dungeon in Dwarven Forge. And I was waiting for the start time of my event. And everybody comes over when you're setting up Dwarven Forge in public, and they want to, what are you doing? And so I'm setting up this table. And this guy comes over. He's my age, maybe-ish. And he says, wow, is this Dungeons and Dragons? I recognize those books. Oh, very cool. NASA gear. I work for NASA. I kind of feel it necessary to rock my old team logo, you know. But he's like, I recognize the books from when I was at middle school. And I said, oh yeah, did you play? And he said, and he looked at me and he kind of said, nah, the kids that play D&D didn't really want me to game with them. So, you know, but it always looked cool. And I said, cool, sit down and play. And you can play. And he said, no, I didn't get to play. And I didn't learn how to play. And I said, well, here's what you need to do to play. Go in the store, ask Todd or Anna to sell you a set of dice, come back, sit down, and play D&D. Do that, and you can play D&D. And he said, well, I really don't know how to play. And I said, do you want to play? And he's like, yeah, it looks kind of neat. And I said, then sit down and play. Sit down and play. Sit down and play Dungeons and Dragons. And he gamed with us for like the 4 hours that we played before we were drowned out by the mobile DJ who was there. I was literally like, y'all have heard me like get mad and yell like that volume times 2, but just to describe rooms. So I was like, we're near the end of the adventure anyway. But that guy who had seen D&D in the 80s when he was in middle school, wanted to play, was shut out of playing it for whatever reason. I didn't ask. He seemed like a perfectly normal dad kind of guy. He was there with his wife. Got to play D&D. He got to play Dungeons and Dragons. That's what you're going to get. That's some content going forward you're going to get. Pre-recorded videos from me. I'm not going to do it on live stream because I usually have other stuff to do on live stream. Like, for example, talk about deities and demigods. But I just want you to keep that in mind. I don't know where I'm going to put up the repository, the catch basin of these D&D positivity stories. And if I just have to do my own, just talk about the great times that I've had playing until it picks up steam, then that's what I'll do because I've been doing this longer than I haven't. And I have plenty of funny and fun stories. Yeah, I have plenty of horror stories. But you got half the internet talking about that sort of thing. So, you heard the story about me working for NASA. I've told that story before. And I will tell it again some other day. Some other rambly kind of day. So, let's talk. Now, I want to be... I want to be very conscientious about the next section of deities and demigods. Because, and I said this about the Native American myths section, there, even more than that, there's like 1 billion people for whom this is an active everyday religion. And I try to be just super duper conscientious about this. I had a lot of salty stuff to say about the Greek gods, and I still think all the Greek gods were dicks. Every last one of them. But I'm not going to be throwing a bunch of sarcasm and a bunch of shade about the Vedic and Hindu concepts, because honestly, these are people's active beliefs, and I may get sarcastic, I may make great mock of things, but you know, in this case, good is better than Doc. Absolutely. So let's take a look at it and look at how Jim statted these out. And one of the first things you're going to be wowed by when we look at this is Indra. I mean, it's like the first thing right off the bat with Indra, you're going to be like, is that a typo? And I honestly don't know. So let's bring this up here. And again, this is some great art. I think this is Jim Rosloff again doing a lot of the art in this section. And right off the bat, Jim understands the translation of these beings into AD&D terms was one of the most difficult tasks of this work. They were very hard to categorize in the lawful or chaotic sense because of the diversity of their worldly actions. The pantheon that resulted is a mixture of Vedic and Hindu concepts, usually leaning towards the Vedic. These gods and goddesses maintain an aloofness greater than normal when compared with some of the other pantheons. There are several concepts that are original with this section that must be dealt with for gaming purposes. The culture that created these mythos also created one of the most rigid caste systems ever known, where one is born to his or her station in life and learns to live with it. In a campaign under the influence of these gods, a character may be a cleric, a magic user, or a fighter. One does not switch from class to class or overlap into other areas, which usually prevents characters from having two classes. The caste system also modifies the behaviors of players towards one another and towards non-player characters. Persons of higher status are to be treated with respect and honor and either obeyed or left strictly alone. Those of the magic user caste are deemed superior to all other castes, including the warriors. All of this is followed strictly by those who obey any sort of lawful code. There is also a belief that all prayers will be answered if the proper sacrifices are made to the gods. If the prayer is not immediately answered, then some impropriety was made and the prayers must be done again and again until the desired result is achieved. Worshippers are identified by the marks they wear. For example, the followers of Vishnu have two parallel lines of a special white earth drawn from the hairline to the bridge of the nose with a perpendicular line connecting them at the bottom. All worshippers have marks of this type somewhere on their persons. Probably the most difficult concept this mythos presents, at least in AD&D terms, is that of the avatar. Lowercase a, no air bending, I apologize. An avatar is a physical manifestation of a deity upon the prime material plane. An avatar usually has lesser powers and a different appearance than the deity it has sprung from. Avatars often represent one particular aspect or side of a deity and may have been created to perform a specific function. A deity may have several avatars simultaneously coexistent, each one different and uninvolved with the others. Vishnu, in particular, has many avatars. Temples and other cultural trappings within this pantheon vary from one extreme to the other. On one hand, there are awesomely huge shrines to single gods that are many stories high, and in the same area, there are tiny shrines dedicated to all of the gods that a single worshiper can use. The deities of this mythos are often described as having many heads and or arms. This multiplicity is somewhat representative of the powers of the deity. For example, if a deity has 7 important abilities, he or she will probably have 7 arms. This number may vary from one account to another. Given most of the deity's abilities shape change, it is only logical that they have as many arms or heads as needed. And there's some more of that lovely Jim Rosloff art. Pay for peace, as John David said there. And let us scroll up and look at the mighty Indra. Indra, greater god. Again, armor class minus 12. I cannot help but wonder if that was not a typo. .400 hit points, of course. He's a greater god. Number of attacks, 2. Damage per attack, 3 to 30 plus 14. So, 17 to 44. Chaotic, neutral, and farmer. Symbols a white elephant. 25th level cleric, 14th level fighter, 20th level magic user illusionist, 10th level bard. 25s across the board. Indra, the first ruler of the god, appears as a heavily muscled man. His main attribute is the ability to create and control any form of weather at will. He can also influence humans, animals, and plants as a staff of command. He can shape change at will. He wears +4 plate mail and a +4 shield in battle. He applies a now consider that for a second. Your players who insist they come to an event or to your gaming table and they have a character. Oh yeah, no, +5 plate mail and +5 shield. That's fine. They're rocking better protection than Indra, guys. He applies a bow made out of rainbows, which shoots lightning bolt at the rate of 2 per melee round, doing 3 to 30 points of damage with a 1,000-yard range, all of which is treated as short range. For hand-to-hand combat, he uses a +3 flaming sword that does 3 to 30 points of damage per hit. Not a lot on what he does other than control weather. Indra's elephant. 150 hit points. I'm guessing 16 hit dice. Just on a guess. That is Jeff D's artwork, by the way. You can tell the date and single letter there. Okay. This huge white beast is able to carry any weight his master wishes through the air, through the plains, or on the ground. It attacks, boom, there you go, 16 plus hit dice monster, stabbing with its tusks, constricting with its trunk, and trampling with its great columnar forelegs. Each of these attacks does 2 to 20 points of damage. In case you had, any Getter Ray notions in your head at the table. Agni, god of fire and lightning. Absolutely beautiful Jeff D piece here. Chaotic neutral, 20th level cleric, 15th level fighter, magic user illusionist. We'll just have to see below. Agni has 3 legs, 7 arms, and as many as 3 heads. He's completely red. His main attribute is the control of all forms of fire. He is able to control any number of fire beings that are within 1 mile of his presence and cast all fire spells as if we were 50th level spellcaster. He is able to cure or cause any disease. He fights with an axe of flame that hits for 3 to 30 points of damage and slays lesser demons and devils if it hits them, no saving throw. His fire aura brightly illuminates his body and causes 25 points of flame damage to any who attack him in hand-to-hand combat. This aura will melt weapons of less than +4 bonus when they strike the god. Agni will be damaged by such attacks, but the weapon will be destroyed. So bring your golf bag full of two-handed swords. That's your plan. Get her. He has a breath weapon 3 times a day, up to 30 yards, 5 to 50 points of damage. His voice charms as the charm person spell or charm monster spell. He can shape change at will. He disdains the use of armor. I mean, given that it's going to run off of him like butter. And attacks the strongest of any enemy group from his fire chariot. This is a 1-wheeled device made out of the 7 winds, which appears to be made of red gold. I know Volcano God was in here complaining about Jim's writing, but that is poetic. A 1-wheeled device made out of the 7 winds, which is made from red gold, pulled by 2 giant horses, which are immune to all forms of heat. And then we get a little tiny stat line for the red horses. Probably one of the most misunderstood, just in my brief grasp of it, deities in the Indian mythos, at least from a D&D standpoint, and that's all I'm framing this as. Not going to have a discussion about real world religions here, guys, as much as we can avoid it. But it's Kali. And of course, those of us who saw Temple of Doom back in the day. She is chaotic evil. She is a 10th level fighter, or she's a 10th level cleric druid, 20th level fighter, 15th level magic user illusionist, 15th level assassin, 13th level monk, charisma -7. So I think Jim is kind of narrowing Kali there. She has night black skin, tusks, 3 eyes, and 4 arms ending in talons. She can shape change at will, and her visage causes fear as the spell to any who look upon her. Save versus spells negate. Exactly my point, anyway. There are many aspects of her. She's like a mother goddess in some aspects, depending. Anyway, she is destruction incarnate, the ruthless mother who can give life and then take it away. She eats her own children for sustenance. The other deities of this pantheon will allow her to lead them in battle against the most powerful of their enemies because she is so awesome in her destructiveness that she is able to inspire fear even in the most gruesome demons and devils. Each of her talon hands can strike for 4 to 40 points of damage. Sometimes she wields a sword in one hand that inflicts 2 to 24. I guess if she's pulling her punch a little bit. Lots of pasta, not a lot of heavily sauced meals, John David. Her worship requires sacrifices of blood and even occasional human, ask Molar Ram. Her cult includes many assassins. Those sworn to defend her cult will often do so in a sort of berserk, suicidal manner, slaying all who oppose them until they themselves are slain. Again, kind of single point of view, but as I said, like a book, an AD&D book that properly covered and discussed one set of mythos, just any one of them that they at TSR did not completely make from whole cloth. It was like, it would have been like 2 inches thick just for the Greek gods. You would need multiple volumes for the set of mythos we're talking about tonight. Again, more awesome art from Jeff D. And this is Kartikeya, Demigod of War, and I think I just murdered that. Demigod, 222 hit points. Number of attack, 10. And then 16 to 26 points of damage per attack. He is chaotic good. 18th level fighter, 10th level thief. He has 6 heads and 12 arms, with swords in 10 of them. The heads are the arms. Each of his swords strikes for 2 to 12 points of damage. The demigod was created to fight devils wherever they are found, and his clerics have a 2% chance of successfully requesting aid from him in battle against devils and their allies, e.g. Rakshasas. Vecna wound up as a demigod, but he got detailed out in much later D&D. Kartikeya rides a giant peacock into battle, and this bird is a symbol to his worshippers and enemies alike. And his peacock! We get his peacock's stats too. It's unique, 120 hit points, 1 attack, 3 to 36. This huge bird is said to have feathers made of metal, while its beak is said to strike with the swiftness of lightning at the god's enemies. The creature Attacks as a 16 hit die monster, no surprise there, striking with its beak for 3 to 36 hit points of damage, and while it does not speak, it obeys the commands of the god perfectly and can act independently of its master. Lakshmi, goddess of fortune. I knew how to pronounce that because there's a little tiny bit of Hindu mythology actually in one of the Far Cry games, and one of the characters is actually named Lakshmi. So let's read on. Can I imagine a peacock striking fear into her enemies? I don't know. I can honestly say I have not fought a peacock in battle. So let's see. Lakshmi, lesser goddess, armor class -3, 300 hit points. She's chaotic good. Her worshippers are chaotic good and those seeking luck. And honestly, who amongst us isn't from time to time? She is 20th level magic user illusionist, 20th level cleric with a good set of stats, strength of 10, but then look at the rest of them. Intelligence 25, wisdom 25, dexterity 20, constitution 23, charisma 24. She is the wife of Vishnu. Careful, boys, she's spoken for. She appears as a golden-skinned woman and always sits on a giant floating lotus when traveling about on the prime material plane. This device will only carry her and can travel at a great speed, 75 inches per round. When the goddess looks at beings with only her right eye, they will always make their saving throws in the next hour and always hit targets that are physically possible to hit in that time. The left eye has the opposite effect for the same amount of time. Lakshmi always makes her saving throws. She is immune to attacks from creatures that are flying. Always makes her saving throws. So you know that thing in the beginning of I think it's the Deities and Demigods talking about how a one always fails. She'll never fail. She'll never fail her saving throws. Marut, wind spirit, very rare. They appear in numbers 1 to 10, just bumping into them on the street, or 10 to 100 in battle. Armor class -2, 100 hit points. I'm sensing another 16 hit dice monster. They are neutral. These humanoids are creatures created out of the wind. They serve as troops for the gods, particularly Vishnu and Rudra, and are often led by one of the demigods of air when they enter battle. Maruts live in the clouds and help create weather for the gods. They are not subject to the will of any but divine beings, i.e. cannot be charmed or enchanted, and they are invisible unless attacking the enemies of the gods. They attack as 16 hit die monsters with their weapons, which are usually broadswords. As wind creatures, they naturally have the ability to fly. So let's scoot on up there. There's Rudra. Ratri, goddess of the night, thieves and robbers, a demigoddess, 250 hit points. Neutral evil. She is a 10th level cleric, a 5th level magic user, and a 15th level illusionist. And also a 15th level assassin with really good stats. She appears as a well-proportioned woman. She has the ability to cast an area of darkness, 15-foot radius, as a spell upon any opponent with no saving throw. She also has the ability to permanently blind any being that crosses her shadow, saving throw versus spells. She wears a magic cloak that causes any objects or persons that touch it to be cast into the ethereal plane, no saving throw. Her attack of a physical nature takes the form of an angry look from her eyes that automatically does 1 to 10 points of damage. She can do this once per round. Rudra, storm god, god of the dead, lord of animals, greater god. Armor class -2, 344 hit points, 2 attacks for 2 to 20, +9, so 11 to 29. Lawful neutral. 14th level druid, 14th level fighter, 25th level illusionist, 15th level thief. Appears as a man with a red complexion and blue neck. Okay. He governs both the spread of disease and its remedies. He can also create and control storms. All of his treasure is kept in a special portable hole that opens into an extra-dimensional area approximately the same size as the Grand Canyon. Jim, I don't believe that's mentioned in any of the Hindu holy texts that they specifically bring up the Grand Canyon. But I'll allow it. Just for the sake, you could have said a giant canyon. Have I ever played DCC? It seems I'd be great at Gonzo writing. You just ran Lost Cryptus. Oh, that's nice. I hope you guys had a lot of fun. And if you were DMing, there were lots of character deaths. Excellent. That's what I like to hear. First time a bugbear shaman ever killed a PC in a game. Good. Do you do it with spells or just bonk bonk on the head? He possesses a magical black bow from which he shoots his arrows of disease. These inflict 2 to 20 points of damage on a hit and infect the victim with a rotting disease, like that resulting from a mummy's touch. Save versus death at -6 negates this effect. With these arrows, he spreads disease amongst those whose time of death has come. Could you just stab me? Just take a sword to the chest, please. Surya, sun god. And I could be wrong. About this, but that looks a lot like Dave Sutherland's art. The cross hatching and the shading really make me think a lot of Dave Sutherland's art. 360 hit points, 2 attacks for 4 to 40, lawful good. Whoops. 20th level cleric, 16th level paladin. You like to finally see some paladin levels. I have an affinity for the paladin class. What can I say? 15th level magic user, 8th level bard. Surya has dark red skin, long golden hair, 3 eyes in his semi-human head, and 4 arms on his humanoid trunk. His main attribute is the ability to sleep any number of 20th level or less beings, non-divine, with no saving throw. He can also affect any number of higher level creatures, though they are given a save versus spells. This ability has a range of 15 inches. He can see anything in the prime material plane that has the sun shining on it. He disdains the use of armor and will attack demons first in any given battle where they appear. In battle, he uses a shaft of light that no one else can grasp. Oh, I got to ask you, John David, did you tell them you knew the author of the module? Just curious. It is a +4 sword-like weapon and does 4 to 40 points of damage per strike. It also automatically dispels all illusions and darkness within 1,000 yards of it and acts as a non-negotiable continual light spell. His chariot, the one-wheeled device, is made from a piece of the sun and is pulled by 7 magical horses, each a different color of the rainbow. That's pretty cool. The vehicle is not corporeal, and as Surya rides in it, the chariot travels with no limits to the speed it can attain. The horses are always incorporeal and never affected by magic. Can Surya see why kids love Cinnamon Toast Crunch? Surya can arrive at when that chariot can arrive at the point before kids started loving Cinnamon Toast Crunch. So yes. When in battle against demons, the chariot shines with intense light that causes 30 points of heat damage per round, with this heat only hurting demonic creatures. No saving throw. Tavashtri, demigod of artifice and science. Neutral, his symbol's a pinwheel fan held on a jade rod. 15th level cleric, 11th level fighter, 20th level magic user. With a good set of stats. Oh, that's fun. That's fun. Tvashri appears as a normal man. His is the ability to design objects of great utility and weapons of awesome power. Because of this, none of the weapons that the gods use that he designed, virtually all of them, have the power to hurt him. That's a good built-in failsafe. He carries a pinwheel device with him at all times, and when activated, it's able to permanently nullify all magical devices in a 200-yard radius around it. This thing can also cast black beams of power once per round that do 4 to 40 points of damage and never miss their target, up to a range of 30. Can regenerate 20 lost hit points per melee round by grabbing parts of the air and applying them to his wounds. This healing ability requires all of his attention. He cannot attack or defend while doing this. Tvashri is the patron of artisans and inventors. His clerics are expected to be resourceful and original in solving their problems. Oh, that would be nice. Thank you. You can shoot them to me email if you want. Oshosh, goddess of the dawn, and image of the I hope the teacher doesn't catch me looking at this. She's a lesser goddess, 300 hit points. She's neutral good, 20th level cleric, 15th level illusionist. Ushas, who appears as a woman, and she's got a great set of stats there. Yes, a great set of stats. That's what I said. She's able to reincarnate any living thing into any other non-divine living form. This is because she is responsible, as goddess of the dawn, for the endless reincarnation of the daytime. She's able to send brilliant light from her body that will blind all those looking at her for 1 to 4 turns, no saving throw. She can regenerate 30 hit points per round while the sun shines on her, and she uses her gaze to inflict 1 to 10 points of damage to any who offend her. She can do this once per round. Guys, don't mess with the Hindu goddesses. She fights the forces of darkness, as this is the only substance that resists her light. In this battle, she rides a chariot like that of Surya, QV, except that all of the horses that pull it are red. When fighting the forces of darkness and evil, she uses her ability of instant awakening. This enables her to awaken all dormant or sleeping good creatures so that they may come to her aid. It also enables her to automatically dispel all charm, enchantment type spells or influences, and prevents her enemies from using these types of spells or abilities. And this might be something that the YouTube algorithm can pick up on, so we're just going to skim past that. There she is, and move on. Varuna, god of order and protectors of oaths. Lawful neutral. You can see that coming. His symbol is the moon. His plane is nirvana. I'm not going for the obvious joke. We're just going to move on. He is the god of physical and moral order, the personification of lawfulness. He is the protector of all oaths, and oath breakers of the lawful alignments have reason to fear his wrath. There's a 1% chance per level of the oath breaker that Varuna will cause him or her to be punished. That's really cool, John. Let's see. He appears as a tall but ordinary man. He has the ability to become ethereal at will. His aura of lawfulness is so strong that no non-divine, I lost my place. No non-divine creature of the chaotic alignment can approach within 5 inches of his form. Varuna wields a jet black spear that strikes for 5 to 50 points of damage. Vishnu, god of mercy and light. Lawful good. He is a 17th level paladin, a 15th level cleric, 25th level magic user, 18th level illusionist. All the good stats. Most commonly appears as a normal man with 4 arms, and that is Dave Sutherland. So based on that, I think the other image we saw was Sutherland also. Always nice to see Dave Sutherland. He's capable of shape changing into almost any form. His primary power is the ability to make any creature of intelligence, low or greater, unable to commit violence of any type within 30 yards of him, no saving throw. When exercising this ability, the god cannot do harm. I'm a god. So naive. Shame on you. When exercising this ability, the god can't do harm. He can also cast his double strength prismatic wall spells at will, and undead turn to dust at his glance. In battle, he wields a mace that disintegrates anything it hits, saving throw versus spells applicable, and does 1 to 10 points of damage per strike, plus his strength bonus. He has a disc weapon that is capable of shooting a stream of fire for 5 to 50 points of damage to a maximum range of 40 yards. And this can be discharged once per round. He's able to use both of these. John David, ask him if he wants an autographed copy of the module, and I'll try to get it to him. Autographed by me and Tracy. I'm serious. He's able to use both weapons simultaneously, striking twice per round with a mace and blasting with the sun disc. Vishnu's magical sea shell automatically sends him into the ethereal plane when he's about to be killed. I mean, is that even possible with this guy? And his lotus flower can heal all of his lost hit points at a touch, up to 3 times a day. He rides Garuda, the king of all birds, into battle, and while on this creature, he is not affected by charm spells of any type. Vishnu is very helpful towards his worshippers, and there is a chance that he will aid them if they are in serious trouble. This is a % chance equal to the number of worshippers in mortal danger to a maximum of 20%. Vishnu may send 1 or more of his minions, the Maruts, to aid them, or he may send part of himself in the form of an avatar. An avatar will probably have only 1 or 2 of Vishnu's character class levels, plus the appropriate divine ability scores. For example, a clerical avatar would probably be 15th level, have a wisdom of 25, maximum hit points, and probably a special magic item or 2. Vishnu's clerics are expected to combat the forces of evil with determination and persistence, but to show mercy to those defeated opponents who are redeemable. And there's Garuda, king of all birds. Not to be confused with Staruda, king of all media. Oh, that was a reach. I apologize. 100 hit points, treasure type Z times 3. Z treasure type is pretty awesome. He's lawful good. He's 60 feet tall. That's a Dave S. LaForest drawing. Half man, half bird, hates all evil things with a mad passion. Garuda is said to be able to carry 5 gods in full battle armor and not be slowed in flight. He can sense any evil creatures or things within a 1-mile radius of himself. He can summon 1 to 10 of any type of avian creature he chooses, even over the commands of other gods, and all avians will follow the commands of Garuda when they meet him. Garuda can perform the summons once per day. No, that's fine. I wasn't just going to give it away. I was just going to give it to him, John. He attacks by battering with his wings for 4 to 24 points a day. Wing Wampin. Now, let me tell you what. Tonka Todd, I know you're out there in the audience. Wing Wampin, am I right? 4 to 24 points of damage per wing and fights, of course, as a 16-hit dice monster. You see me on TMZ. Are you kidding? I'd stop and ask that cameraman how their day is going. I tell you what about Lost Crypt, and everyone, not just to you, John David. This is, of course, to everyone. I wish you could have gotten the entire Teeth of the Barkishnor, of which the Lost Crypt is only a tiny portion. If I thought Gail were to ever watch or see this, I would say, please, let's publish it. Please. Please. Anyway, moving right along. A link for Gamma World. I'll get you guys this Gamma World link. Don't worry. Don't worry. that is coming, because I think we're coming up to the end. So we have Yama, the demigod of death. We may go over a little bit into Gamma World time, but that's okay. That is okay. That's true, Awig. I would do that. Yama, the demigod of death, armor class -1, 299 hit points, 2 attacks for 11 to 31. And he is a 10th level fighter, 14th level cleric, check below for magic user illusionist. And he's a demigod, so he's only got 18 in every stat except for intelligence and strength. Started life as the first mortal. Well, I guess when you start around as the first guy, you know. He so impressed the gods with his ability to cause destruction, they made him an immortal. He appears to the world with green skin, copper-colored eyes, and wearing red robes. He enters battle wearing armor of etherealness. His +3 mace hits for 2 to 12 points of damage per strike. He uses a +5 magical noose as a weapon when he rides his giant water buffalo, which strangles those he catches in 3 melee rounds, no matter how many hit points they have. He has acquired the ability to cast any magic user spell as if he were a 20th level, as long as it does damage to his enemies. We have this absolutely fantastic Errol Otis piece here. This lit the fires of my imagination when I was a kid. Does this not just excite you? Oh, I have another book in the works, John David, but I don't want to give it away. I don't want to give it away. May do some crowdfunding on it. It's a little something from myself and Tracy Lesh. But I have said too much. All right. And yeah, this will wrap up the mythos, and we will have a few minutes to do the usual thing that we do. His red so you guys can see that and not squint at your phones and monitors and whatnot. It's so strange when I look at the YouTube metrics, how many people watch and listen on mobile. My daughter has a friend in Canada. Hello, Tanner. Who he works at a library, and apparently not real time, but like after I do my shows, he'll listen to them while he does work in the library. You know, he puts his headphones in and is putting books back up and that sort of thing. And I always wonder about that because I do have visual stuff that I do in my shows. And I wonder if for those of you who just listen, do you feel like you miss out? Because like old computer restorations and old car restoration videos that I watch on YouTube, it's some fantastic content creators on YouTube. It's basically taken over TV. Like I don't watch TV anymore. I'll watch Dylan McCool or Junkyard Diggs or Thunderhead 289 or Adrian Black or the 8-bit guy talk about old cars or old computers. I can't just listen to that in the car. When Adrian's talking about, you know, oh, I built a new testing chip and this is where we put it on the motherboard of classic Apple IIs. I want to see that. I want to see that. So I can't just listen to it. It takes me out of it. And I show off so much stuff here. I can't imagine for most of the shows just listening. Yama is the judge of the dead. Based on the record of a man's deeds in life, Yama will decide which plane he goes to after death in the case of those who worship a member of this pantheon. And we have his water buffalo. Unique, 100 hit points. I'm guessing 16 plus hit die monster when he attacks. He's average intelligence. He's neutral. You know, it's all good. Lawful neutral, I stand corrected. Can carry 2 gods dressed in full armor. 16 plus hit die monster. Goring for 4 to 40 points of damage. It's pronounced Goering. And can obey complicated orders from Yama. All right. I want the veggie sub. I want the salad oil. I don't want red peppers on half. I want the whole thing on multigrain. Complicated orders. That's a joke, son. But anyway, so that is the Indian Pantheon, and I hope you guys enjoyed hearing about that. The next one that's up is also very interesting, and I know there's some closet weebs out there who like the show. Like, I like Japanese culture too, but the next pantheon we're going to cover are the Japanese mythos. So I'm really looking forward to that. Oh, good Lord, yes. If I had the budget, I would have. It's my wife's cat. If I had the budget, I would like this wall over here would just be a bread rack of vintage machines. There's so much cool in the vintage. Not for about 40 years. I did just a very little bit the first summer we lived here in Florida. Now I would probably be more of a danger to myself and others if I attempted to get on a board. I do like the beach. I'm more of a springs guy. We had these lovely natural springs parks here in Florida, Wekiva Springs, for one, Apopka Springs. And I will go there and I will float around in 70-degree water until I get hypothermia, man. I love that. I love that. All right. So those that is that section of Deities and Demigods. And we're coming up on some more interesting stuff. And I thank you guys for sticking around for that. It's very cool. Let me do this. I'm going to copy, and I'm going to throw out this invite here to my fellow Gemma Worlders. Yes. Here is your dang link. I'm just sending out this link here real quick because I am remiss. So there's the link to those who need it. When SylvieCon eventually, I don't know that I can call it SylvieCon now. You guys have stuck me with guac, or I stuck me with guac. So it may be guac going forward. It's not. We only get good waves when there's hurricanes many miles out to sea that kick up the waves. That's really it. But I did have fun for the brief time that I did it. Nowadays I would just right in the drink. If we get comedy show. A Dagoth mask. Such a grand and intoxicating innocence to me, Invictus. Did you bring the false thunder? So naive. Shame on you. Ha ha ha. I'm a god. Jimmy Invictus, friend or traitor, approach now. Bill. That's one of the things is we just got done with the Indian mythos that I really loved about Morrowind. Now, I'm a fantasy traditionalist. Give me elves, dwarves, halflings, the D&D spread, right? Nordic, Central European kind of gods and demigods and things that kind of a little bit draw. So I was completely out of my comfort zone when I played Morrowind, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. But anyway, so we're fixing to, as they say, start some Gamma World. But before we do, I would like to point out, if you are new to the channel and you are interested in supporting the channel, you can support us on Patreon. You can support us on Subscribestar. You see the crab's holding up the banner. He's been holding it up all night. You got to appreciate that. You can buy me a coffee. buymeacoffee.com/bsylvie. If that's what you want to do. You don't have to, but it's there. if you want to. And there are those who have elected to. And so let me take a moment to say an extra special thanks to Joshua Garlock, Lord Corion, Ricky Maru, Mobius, Kevin Reynolds, Doomsword Deathmaster, Mark Simpson, Damien247, James F. Keck, William Smith, The Dungeon Minister, Manny Wall, Mark Corey, Kevin Wood, Todd Sharp, Carnivore Farmer, Rob, Jeremy Rule, Bo Ganora, Mikey Mank, Sky Hernstrom, Pete Sullivan, the DM's Council. By the way, that's that Sky Hernstrom. Yeah, the fantasy author, the awesome fantasy author. The DM's Council and Baron Von Headbanger. Thank you guys so very much for your assistance, for your help there. You literally help keep the lights on, guys. You literally help keep the lights on. I mean, I got Kyle helping me hold it down on Wednesdays, and you guys out there in the community are all like, the audio would be nowhere near as good as it was without Bo Ganora. He helped me get voice meters set up, and now I sound better than ever. So it is greatly appreciated. It is greatly, incredibly appreciated by you guys. But yeah, that is a thing you can do, and I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. So I think my players are getting a little restless in the green room. So without further ado, let me don the AKG phones of awesomeness. By the way, these AKG Studio headphones, they're not paying me to say this. I love these things. I do. These are awesome. People are like, oh, just get you some earbuds, get you some Raycons, which are fine, I guess, for like, I wouldn't wear these out like in the car, right? I wouldn't plug these into my phone and be sitting in traffic wearing these. That's what those kind of, but for this kind of work, I love these AKGs. Time to wax post-apocalyptic. You are absolutely right. So let's welcome in Doomsword Deathmaster's numbers, Rob.
Hello.
Kevin as Shivakuni. Did I say that right?
Chef
Coney.
Yep.
Duh.
Brianki.
And of course, the irrepressible and insufferable Tonka Todd as Bogo Jorts.
Discord has you. Share link, you will.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so it's been a few weeks. The last time we had this group in the room, I believe Tonka Todd was responsible for a bunch of their deaths, but we can point fingers and recriminate it another time. I'm just giving you grief, brother.
Just don't give Bogo a shotgun and we're okay.
Wasn't that a movie with Rutger Hauer, Bogo with a shotgun? I think so. Anyway, let's pick up where we left off. Now, for those of you who maybe this is your first time catching the Gamma World live stream, of course, Gamma World is the game of post-apocalyptic science fantasy adventure where humans and mutants struggle to survive in a world that they never made. But your most recent adventures took you into the ruins of an ancient city and placed you toe-to-toe against a group of androids bent on who knows what nefarious activities. You think you were able to put a stop to that. They're not supporting you. They're not pursuing you. Support. I had a strong there, sorry. They're not pursuing you. So we pick up there as you have left the ruins of the city on your way back to your stronghold away in the distant south. You're in your vehicle. Some of your companions are overcome with exhaustion and decide to sleep. And as you're motoring along down this ancient road, who's driving the vehicle? Let me ask you that.
It's not BOGO, so it's one of you two.
Yeah, with BOGO size, you're just up on the dashboard doing this.
I'm playing the part of the bobblehead.
Exactly. I'm sorry, there was some crosstalk. What was that, Doomsword?
Yeah, I think one of the guys who isn't here was the one driving.
Okay, well, then he's asleep and he hands the driving duties over to Numbers Rab. So,
Oh, my.
I'll be kind and say that through observation, you have been able to ascertain that basically as you hold the steering control, if you move it this way, the vehicle will veer off the road that way. If you move it that way, the vehicle will veer off towards that direction. If you push the tall, narrow pedal on the floor, it will lurch ahead faster. And if you push the short, wide pedal on the floor, it will lurch to a stop. So what more do you need to drive your vehicle?
I got this, guys.
There you go. Shevkoni. You live out in the boondocks near the ancient ruined city. And as of late, you have seen strange lights and seen weird, tiny, almost bird-sized airborne vehicles moving around nearby. And some of your companions and things that you wouldn't call companions, when they would step out to observe them more closely or wave at them, these usually disc-shaped things descended and killed them in some horrible fashion. So you've learned to avoid those. But now, near your hovel, in an ancient metal cylinder that is beneath the very bed of the road, you hear the faint rumble and grind of mechanical wheels. Sticking your head up over the embankment, you see a rather run-down-looking ancient ground car moving towards you, and there are not the almost antiseptic robed, at least by all outward appearance, pure strain humans riding in it, but an eclectic gaggle of folks cruising up the highway. What do you wish to do?
I'm gonna wipe off my goggles and take a better look. What kind of what is in there? Who are these things? What the hell are they doing above my tube?
Well, there appears to be a pure strain human, a couple of pure strain humans, at least by outward appearance. That's really about the best that you can make out. They are still a few meters down the road. They have some kind of decoration or ornament on the front panel of this thing that's bobbing back and forth like that, but you're not sure what that's about. They're not making any hostile moves towards you. And Numbers, give me a D20 roll there, Numbers.
All righty. 14.
And what's your mental strength?
14.
Okay, yeah. So you catch some movement at the side of the road, maybe a glint off of something glass or glass light moving around.
Buckle up, boys. I slammed the brakes.
Okay. Shevkoni, the vehicle stops. And it is about 20 meters away when it stops.
Oh, crap. Well, I look and see if there's anybody else in the tube behind me.
No, you're a loner.
Okay, good. Just need to check that out every time. I'll go up there and I'll stick my head up just over the side of the roadway, and I'll peer carefully into the vehicle to see what they're doing. I'm a little wary. I might back off 10 meters just because.
Okay. Well, for the sake of our audience and for the other players, can you describe your character, please?
Well, what I look like from the outside is a burlap sack with goggles, welding goggles, quite dark welding goggles. I'm mostly humanoid. You might see a frock of white hair sticking out between some of the burlap gaps. Aside from that, I'm pretty unremarkable.
All right. Those of you who are, I guess it would just be numbers. Numbers, describe yourself.
Yeah, he's about 6'2" or thereabouts, of pretty standard post-apocalyptic build. Strong and lean, generally speaking, though not too strong and hulking or anything like that. Just a standard guy, about 190 pounds. Approaching probably middle-aged or later aged at 29 in this particular world, with sun-baked skin, greasy black hair, and either tattoos or dirt all over his body.
Okay. And the little doodad or whatever it is standing on the dash kind of waddles around and looks at you. That's a little distressing. So, Tonka, describe Bogo Jorts, if you would.
Bogo is adorable. He is 19 inches tall, bald, covered in some kind of armor, as far as you can tell. And he's wearing a robe, and he looks adorable.
All right. So
that adorable part depends upon who you ask.
Yes. Okay. What is Bogo's intelligence, please?
His intelligence is 13.
Okay, and what is Number's intelligence?
14.
Oh boy,
this is lovely.
A couple of geniuses in the car is all you need to know, Bill.
Bogo, this fellow in wearing burlap clothes and goggles is your enemy. You want to kill him.
Kill it.
I'm suffering so much deja vu right now.
Numbers, you're actually you're completely fine with it. But Bogo, you are suddenly filled with a rage that this thing even exists.
Do I notice this? I'm sort of sensitive to seeing this. Do I notice this happening?
Yeah, I'm going to say since this is it's a 20% chance and it's unconscious that his face just twists into a hateful grimace.
Right. I will.
He turns into a mad chihuahua inside of a car.
I'm going to put my hands up and say, I'm a friend, and back away quickly as far as I can.
George,
okay.
Calm down. What are you doing?
Roll initiative.
You will.
You. Roll initiative.
Who?
This is for Bogo and for Chivkoni.
Got a 4.
All right. I rolled a 1. Thank God.
Yeah, you just throw yourself against the inside windscreen. Just bam! Chivkoni, you are sprinting far away. With your maximum movement in the combat round, I'm going to say that you can get that 30 meters away, or more than 30 meters away, because they stop 20 meters away. So you've only got like,
Plus.
yeah. Yeah. So you just turn and bolt away from them. And Bogo, the sensation passes almost as quickly as it came upon you. You hadn't the faintest idea why you wanted to murder that guy's face.
I say I'm a friend.
Something
I'm a
bad
friend.
idea.
Please don't attempt to murder me.
I'll step out of the vehicle.
Okay. Your friends are sound asleep.
George, you coming? Get a hold of yourself.
Yes.
All right, don't kill him, okay?
Promises I will not make.
Well, I ain't making no promises neither, but don't kill him if he don't do nothing wrong, all right?
How bright is it out? Is it full sun kind of time?
No, it's actually late afternoon, like almost early evening.
All right, so I'm going to what I'll do is I'll say I'm humanoid, and I'll pull the burlap glove slightly off of my wrist to show that it's pale, but it's skin. It's not monstrous.
Okay. How close does Bogo and Numbers wish to approach Chef Coney?
Well, I'm gonna get my Mark 7 blaster rifle ready. Not pointed directly at him or anything, but in a ready position to where I can raise and fire if anything happens that I don't like, which really could be anything apparently. But maybe I don't know, maybe 10 meters enough to carry on a conversation at a loud voice. Okay.
And how about Bogo?
Bogo's just going to walk up to him.
Okay. What is Chef Coney doing as they're approaching?
I'm watching them to see if their demeanor changes, and if it does, I'm going to back off as they walk up.
Okay. Bogo, you feel fine. You're approaching. You're like, I don't. Whatever was it?
Startled me. You did.
Numbers. Kill.
Come on.
Roll initiative.
Son of a bitch. Why does it always have to be kill?
Yeah, I rolled a 6.
I rolled a 6 as well.
Okay, simultaneous fire. Numbers, I'm going to give you a slight edge, just a slight, because you've had to grow up with this. You've lived in the wilderness away from anyone who's like you because of this. So, like, when you see his face like twist into hatred and his arms twitch, you're just a little bit faster. Although, Numbers has a high. What is? Oh gosh.
Yeah, and Numbers is the pure strain human with the 18 decks who always goes first. Blah blah blah.
I'm just happy it's not me holding the shotgun this time, guys. I'm just putting that on the table.
Yeah, but see, you had a choice. I don't think that I do.
Vince says, "Did you bring another character tonight?" You have the blaster, and you had that full am from "I have no mouth and I must scream" going on. Hate. Let me tell you about hate. If the word hate were inscribed on every, so go ahead and take a shot at him.
All right. Well,
What is Chef Coney's armor class?
Oh, it's 10. I mean, unless Burlap does anything against Mark my blaster.
And it
Could
doesn't.
Bogo attempt to use his lightsaber stick thing to block Number's shot?
Well, not. What is Bogo's dex?
Oh, it's a heroic 13.
Yeah, no. I mean, you can bring it out and activate it, but you are not faster than the speed of light, and that is how fast that beam is flying. What did you roll?
I'm gonna roll this one in the in the little dice pot here, right?
That's fine.
Come on.
Bogo will activate his sword, but turn his back to the bird
3.
man.
Okay, yeah. So, brat, this beam just goes flying off, and I'm guessing Chef Coney is just sprinting.
I'm sprinting away. Yes.
Okay, so
don't shoot,
charges.
Brioche.
Oh no, I've got one left. Never mind.
okay, so you're standing there. You can kind of smell the faint odor of just a little bit of carbonized, air. That sort of clean lightning bolt sort of smell. He's run away, and your desire to disintegrate a 10-centimeter hole through his body is completely gone.
Is it possible to catch on that there's like some sort of effect that makes me feel different than I normally would?
What is your mental strength?
14.
14. Okay, let's see here. You know what? We're gonna do kind of let's see, 14. And what is Chef Coney's mental strength?
It's 9.
All right, so yeah, give me a D20 roll if you would, please. Numbers.
Not very good. That's a 7.
Well, that is actually sufficient. Yeah. You get within like 30 meters of this guy, and just everything goes red. There's something. It's primal. You didn't feel it at first, but it's like it just comes over you when he gets within 30 meters of you. Sometimes you're not sure what is doing it.
All right. So can I? So is he gone? Or is he like 30, 35 meters away or whatever?
Yeah, if I can get a good distance, I'm going to turn around with my hands up.
Right. Knowing this to be the case, before I approach one step closer, I'm going to throw the rifle on the ground and kick it to the back.
Okay.
So it at least, take me a couple seconds or something to grab it. I'm not sure I mean you any harm either.
I can't say I blame you. This is a pretty common event for me. Even my mother hated my guts.
Nah.
I don't know why.
Yeah, mutant, eh?
I guess so.
Yeah, what's your name?
I'm Chef Coney. Or at least that's what I named myself.
After everybody left you in the hole in the dirt.
Yeah, my first memory was digging myself out of a dirt hole that it was buried in.
Wow.
Bagman, I shall call you.
I don't know how we remedy this situation. I dare not come any closer. I guess you dare not come any closer either, huh?
And there has to be some way. There has to be. I mean, you could tell I mean you no harm.
Yeah, I can tell that now. but I don't know if anyone's ever told you this. Once you get a little closer, there's just something about you that ain't quite right.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yep. Yep.
So what are you doing out here, anyways?
I live over there, and I point to the I don't know, drainage.
Yeah, it's basically it's a culvert pipe under the highway.
Under the road. Yeah.
Nice character.
I live in a hole in the ground.
Maybe this one should have died during character creation.
Well, yeah, I don't. It's not quite hopeless, I guess, if you use the hopeless rules. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
The anti-hopeless rules.
Bogo will
okay.
Bogo
I'm
just
gonna
walk up to him and do the little baby pick me up arms. And my mental strength is 18.
Yeah, you no particular hostility. So yeah, this soft-shelled crab with tufts of fur sticking out of it holds its hands up to you.
It's still more attractive than I am, so I'll pick it up and I'll look at it.
I hit him with the puppy dog eyes.
This is a person? What is your name, little person?
Bogo Jorts I am, Baggy.
Bogo Jorts. Well, your nickname is appropriate.
No, you are Baggy.
Yes. Yes.
All right. So I'm going to make a field ruling on this. Okay, it's DM fiat field ruling right now. Yes, Bogo. No, I think he's Bogo's 20 inches tall, right?
He is 19 inches tall. So
19 inches tall. So Jimmy Invictus and I bracketed that 19 inches tall. So here's my my field judge. I'm going to review the video on this and make a call. Your repulsion field, your hatred field, basically, if it twigs after the first time somebody makes a successful whatever, they don't act hostilely towards you again.
It's not violent, is what you mean? They just dislike me and turn inside themselves.
No. You just like. Okay. So it's a 20% chance of hostility. Let's say I roll a 9 for somebody at the stronghold, and I rolled a 19. So there you go. So they might try to attack you if you drag them out of the radius, or they leave the radius, or you get away from them. If you get back within, and they make, say, the next time we roll, that was a 5. So they would have attacked you that time. But the third time, the 48, then they're no longer hostile to you.
And the third time it stayed up.
But the third one's kept standing. So yeah. So basically, until they make a save, they're hostile to you. But once they make the save, they don't have to make it again. Like the field no longer affects their hippocampus and makes them want to murder your face.
Okay.
Seems reasonable to me.
Yeah, the alternative is, we're going to have a really long limo.
Exactly.
Yeah, or you could just start rolling a new guy or whatever.
Yeah,
that's a tough break right there.
35-meter chain.
Tied to the lumber.
35-meter chain and a trailer.
Yep.
I suppose I'll approach then at that point, being that I'm no longer affected by the repulsion field.
Okay, you're no longer affected by the repulsion field. Bogo isn't either, and when the other players are here again and they wake up, that's going to be hilarious. But especially when somebody like pulls down the back seat and climbs into the trunk to grab the nuke. Oh no, you guys traded that to
We went that way, thankfully.
Oh yeah.
Screw this guy.
I'll take myself with him.
How do you like mushrooms, loser?
All right, so that cloud of hatred has passed, and you can now see, Chaconi, that the anger is gone. You recognize that your field is no longer affecting them.
Yeah, I can have a little tear coming down my face. Comrades, I can't believe it. You can tolerate me. This is unusual.
I'll tell you, it took a little bit of work.
Oh, well, I saw. I know.
Well, yeah, that's a good point.
From Baggy's arm, Bogo reaches up and strokes his face to wipe the tear away.
Aww.
I have never had companions because of my disfigurement, I guess. When they get closer, I'll pull my hood up so they can see my face. I don't know if this helps with my 7 charisma, but just to let them know that I'm, not a monster. But I don't leave my hood up for long, so I don't get burned. I was like, the sun does not like me either.
Allergic to the planet, are you?
Just the light. It burns.
Yeah, so that's the meaning of living in that pipe over there?
That's most of my life, yeah. I stay either in the darkness or, find places where I won't be burned.
Embrace the dark side you have.
You could say that. I think you just did.
Yeah, you're not sure this guy talks backwards, but there you go.
No, I've had worse companions, like all of the ones.
Well, we're all in this together now, aren't we?
I say, well, maybe my loneliness has been abated, at least for a short time. Could I possibly travel with you? I don't have any specific goals, I guess I would say, other than maybe
that makes all of us
see more of the world than I have.
Yeah, that's about it. Well, there's a small problem, you see. I got a couple of guys asleep in the car.
Oh.
At least they tell me it's a car. That's what they called it. That's what the one guy called it. I don't even remember his name.
Huh. Well, yeah. Well, I could maybe ride in the trunk.
Yeah, there's a compartment back there.
I guess. Do I know there's a trunk? I probably don't even know there's a trunk.
No, you just that is that thought. You're like, maybe I could write. No,
there's a compartment in the rear end of the vehicle. What we could do is what you could do is you could climb in there. I could kind of tie it open a little bit, so that you can see but don't fall out or whatever. And we can see what happens. They're sleeping pretty soundly, though. It might last for a while. I don't know if they were overtaken by some kind of poisonous flower or something out there in the wasteland.
Oh, that wasn't me. I didn't do that. That definitely didn't do. That was definitely not me.
I didn't figure it was, because we would have blasted you to hell if it was.
Okay. I mean, I could do that, but it's not me.
Oh, you could do that.
Yes, I could do that. Huh. I could show you.
Yeah, that's quite all right.
Okay.
But there's probably some other people we might run into who might find that fascinating.
Yeah, I usually don't use it. It's unfriendly. But sometimes, well, most of the time, it's unfriendly. So appropriate, I guess.
Yeah, we'll find a use for that. We're all misfits out here, you know.
I'll be quite comfortable in a confined space.
Yeah, well, there you go. The rear compartment is perfect.
Perfect.
If you see anything back there, don't press any buttons, nothing like that, you know. We've been known to carry some stuff back there that's also unfriendly. I don't know what's back there right now.
Yeah, again, quite comfortable. No challenge. Unfriendly is default. So
Okay. As you guys are talking about this, let's see. Give me just a second. Okay, so you kind of hear something. It's sounds like it's coming from the left-hand side of the road, some distance away, but there's a faint humming sound and sort of a crashing sound coming through the trees.
is this your
I'm
friend?
gonna run and grab my rifle. Those ain't friends.
Oh, I've never heard this before. I guess we'll look into the area where the sound's coming from and see if we can identify what it is.
And I'm going to grab my rifle that I dropped in the sand.
Okay. As you're standing there watching, looming out of the trees is this 3.5 meter wide, 5 meter long, 1.5 meter high ovoid shape, and it appears to be floating above the ground. It is a kind of a dull brushed metal, showing a little bit of rust in places, and it's just hovering along, moving straight towards you, and it gets about 15 meters away. If you guys don't react to it, it's just sort of moving more or less in your direction.
Have I retrieved my rifle?
Oh yes, you've got your rifle.
Can
I've got that at the ready.
Can Bogo try to figure out what this thing is?
It looks like an ancient machine of some kind.
I'm going to run away from the group.
Okay.
Hopefully, fast enough to where I want to be more than 30 meters from those guys. If I can be.
All right. So it pauses for a moment. As you're running away, you can see flickering behind you, and given your sensitivity to sunlight, it doesn't do any damage, but you can feel light passing over over the little bit of exposed skin you have, but you've got your back to it, so you can't quite see what it is, except there's a faint flicker of red in front of you on the ground. Bogo and Numbers, these fans of reddish light just sort of glide up and down your bodies briefly as it stands there, or as it hangs there in midair. And there's kind of a faint clicking and chuckling sound coming from the inside, and it regards you for a moment with what can only be described as insectoid glassy eyes built into this sort of rotating turret like device jutting out of the front of it. And this mechanical voice comes out and says, "You are at the perimeter of the nature preserve. Please identify yourselves."
I'm Numbers. I was just checking out the beauty of the park. I'll be on my way now.
Bogo George, I am. Who you are?
I am Ecology Bot 1337. You are an invasive species and should be removed from the nature preserve. And it begins to glide forward.
Was it you as in Bogo, or was it you as in was it scanning both of us at that time?
It was referring to Bogo. It spoke to Bogo after it when Bogo asked him what it was.
All right. Is there somewhere to sort of inconspicuously take a bit of cover to where I could dodge behind it if it shoots at me?
Well, yeah, there's the car.
Yeah, I suppose I'll move back towards the car, walking backwards slowly with the rifle in my right hand kind of down pointed toward the ground and my left hand kind of up in a gesture of peace.
So a port opens in its side, and Bogo, roll initiative, please.
Ooh, I rolled a 6, baby.
Okay, you rolled a 6. What do you wish to do?
How high is this thing off the ground?
It's about a meter off the ground.
So if I ran up on top of the car, could I jump off the top of the car and stab my light sword into the side of it?
Running up on top of the car is going to be your action for the round, but yes, you could certainly attempt that.
Okay, then yeah, if it takes 2 rounds, it takes 2 rounds. That's my course of action.
Okay. Numbers, you can act before it does anything. It has said what it said to Bogo, and something iris is open in its side, and you see a short length of pipe slide out and is pointing in Bogo's direction. What do you wish to do?
I'm gonna have to shoot it.
Okay. So go ahead and take your shot.
13, and that's a class 14 weapon.
Okay, so let's see. That probably hits, but let me take a quick gander.
Oh, look, it disintegrated them already. It took the player and everything.
Oh my. Poor Bogo.
Yeah, he went robotic a few seconds before he disconnected.
He'll be right back. Okay. Unfortunately, we'll have to ask him what his let's see. Let's look at that. How much damage did you do with that blast? Let's go ahead and roll it while I'm
29.
29. Yeah. Okay. So let's see if you hit. That was what class weapon was that? A 13?
14. And I rolled 14. A 13.
Okay. Yeah. So you did hit it, and yeah, metal melts and there's sparks and whatnot, but it's still hovering in the air and it's still taking its shot. What is Bogo's armor class, please?
Bogo's armor class, excuse me, is 4, and his corpus, hang on, It reduces damage by half.
Okay.
My natural body armor does.
Alrighty. All right. Okay, Bogo, as you run up on top of the car, this arc of some foul-smelling pale green liquid just hoses you. You are drenched in this, and it is a most awful smelling stuff that's clinging to you. What is Bogo's constitution?
His constitution is 14.
Okay, that's really good. Your eyes are stinging, but it is awful. Like your skin feels like it is on fire. It is very difficult to breathe. This thing basically just hoses you down with pesticide.
Bogo acts out the scene from Talladega Nights, Ricky Bobby, when he thinks he's on fire.
You're running around in the middle of the ruined highway.
Help me, baby Jesus, help me!
Jimmy Invictus says he's going to be very sad if a Christopher Walken bot doesn't show up. We could do that. This is a post-apocalypse setting, you know. We can certainly have The Walking Dead.
He's here all week, but folks, try the veal.
It's a terrible pun. You shouldn't put up with it, but you have to, or I'll stab you in the face with a soldering iron. Okay, so yeah, Bogo, you're getting ready to make your jump, and yeah, you just get a little fire hose. Numbers, you knock a slice out of this thing's armor, and it's kind of tilting on the one side, and it just, out of one of the speakers, this screechy gabble, because you slightly damaged it, says, damaging U.S. forestry property is a felony offense and may result in a 5-year fine or up to $20,000 in prison. Yeah, it says it backwards like that because it's you've damaged it. So yeah, just a bunch of mechanical arms pop out. There's just a hotly glowing jet of bluish flame on one arm, and another with some nasty looking pinchers and trimmers and that sort of thing. Next round, what is Bogo doing?
Wow. Running as far away from this thing as possible, trying to get this sticky goose stuff off of me.
Okay. You're going to need 3 rounds to recover from that. Just as far as the getting it off of you part goes, that's what the 3 was. Basically 3 rounds of being incapacitated. Numbers, you going to take a shot at it?
Yeah, I have to reload.
Okay, so how about Chef Coney? What is he doing?
How far away am I?
You got like your maximum movement away.
Okay, so it's 12.
Yeah.
100. What is it? 130 meters? I 120 meters. I can't remember. There's 4 different movement rates in Game World, right?
You ran 30 meters away. It's a natural reaction, like in your mind's eye.
It is. Okay, I'm gonna run back. If I can make it within 25 meters, I'll use pyrokinesis. If I can't, then I'll do it next round.
Okay. Yeah, pyrokinesis is a mental attack. You can definitely use that. I'm
going to use it on its weapon port, whatever that is. Whatever opened and started cheating goo out.
Okay. Yeah, so the bot is gliding forward, sort of dragging a couple of service plates and other mechanical bits that Numbers didn't blast away forward, and it is sticking a manipulator out to try and grab Bogo Jorts, and another manipulator arm comes up, and it's holding a container big enough to hold Bogo Jorts, and you can just faintly see on this circular container there's 3 orange interlocked circles in a triangular pattern, and you can make out the words invasive species disposal container. So Numbers, you're spending this round slapping a new power pack into your weapon. Bogo, you're incapacitated, so it comes over to the forestry bot. Let's see. Your armor class is going to basically be halved because you're incapacitated. And physical attack matrix. I'm gonna rule this. Let's see. Still easier grappling rules than Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. All right, so we'll do that. Yeah, you're like trying to scrape this stuff out of your eyes. You're like convulsing and coughing and sneezing, and the next thing you know, you just feel this metal pincher clamp onto you.
Oh, man.
You are thrown into something, and there's this clunk as the lid comes over. So Bogo, you have another round of being incapacitated inside a plastic bucket.
Man.
But Bogo just starts crying and yelling for Baggy to help him.
All right. The thing kind of extends another arm around and sweeps back and forth across the rear of the vehicle that you have and says, damaging forestry property is a felony offense. Your license plate has been reported to Natural Preserve authorities. Thank you. You have a nice day. And it begins to glide into the forest.
Well, no, that isn't how it works. We're gonna chase it. I'm assuming
Not
it's
exactly
faster than us.
Not exactly the scene John Williams had in mind when he composed Duel of the Fates, I know, but bucket for Bogo.
And they were singing Bye Bye Mr. Bogo Jorts.
All right. Bogo, you're incapacitated for another round. Numbers, you've got your rifle reloaded, and Shevkoni act at the end of the round. Not at the end of this round, but at the end of the previous round. So you're going to hit it with 1d6 for pyrokinesis.
That's right. A whole 5.
A whole 5. Okay, yeah.
A whole 5 of very, very hot.
Yeah, you see some parts melt and that sort of thing, and you can't hear it because it's moving away from you, but it's saying something about vandalizing park property is a felony and so on and etc. So let's see. Ecology bot. I need to find its stats. I mean, I know what you guys have done to it damage-wise. I just need to see its movement. Ecology bot.
Faster than us,
Yeah,
I bet.
it's faster than you on foot. It's starting to pick up speed. So it's the new round. Numbers, you can go first.
I'm going to try to shoot it.
Make an attack roll.
This is a 13 also.
13 is going to hit it. Roll your damage.
Uh, 24.
Wow. Okay. So 24, and you had done how much before?
29.
Okay. Yeah. It has all 24 and 29 and 5. So 29 and 29. Yeah, this thing is basically a couple of dissociated clusters of parts, but it's still moving away from you, sparking, and periodically sparks will land on the ground and flare up, and it jets water on them as it goes by. What is Chef Coney going to do?
I'm gonna chase it if I can stay within 25 meters. If not, then I'm gonna try to go to get in the hatch of the vehicle if that moves faster than we do.
Okay, let's roll initiative then. Chef Coney, go ahead.
All right. I got a 1. Of course.
Okay, you're kind of looking back and forth, and it accelerates away as best it can, and starts cruising back into the forest, the direction it came from, with the invasive species. So you're running back to the vehicle now?
If I can't keep up, I can't hurt it. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
yell. Maybe that I don't know what that thing you rode in here is faster. To numbers.
It's definitely faster.
Okay, well,
Has this thing moved out of apparent range of my rifle?
Yeah, because it's kind of gone behind some trees and whatnot.
Right. Well, I suppose I'll hop in the vehicle and drive after it. At least try to keep an eye on it. But yeah.
Okay. As soon as you leave the road, your companions wake up. And they're, hey, what's going on here?
Yeah, that's what I was getting at.
And neither of them attack your new friend.
that's awesome.
Who is this guy in the burlap with the goggles?
Yeah, don't worry, he's repulsive.
My name's Chifgoni.
We'll just call you Reek.
Yeah, Reek or Bags or whatever. Anything
right.
but Blam is good for me.
So you're attempting to pursue this thing off-road in your ground car.
I'm pretty sure it's an off-road ground car, right?
you think it might be? You're hoping it might be. Let's see, Bogo, you in this round will be able to do more than curl up in a little ball and cry in the plastic bucket. So what do you wish to do?
I wish to attempt to ignite my vibro blade and cut myself out this jar.
Okay. Numbers you're just driving to pursue?
Yeah, that'd be it. And try to keep it in sight.
Okay. It's hard because this thing can hover and go between trees that are narrower than your vehicle can, and your vehicle is not an off-road vehicle, so you're getting high centered on stuff and having to back up and move forward. So give me a D10 roll.
7.
Yeah, it's really hard, and you can, like, one of the mirrors that you, or rather one of the cameras that provides a feed to a screen in the car, it barely functions because this thing is in pretty bad shape to begin with. You know, it was not in new condition when you found it, but still, you hear this crunch and it goes offline. So you're lurching around. Everybody's being battered. Everyone will take a point of damage because the car's anti-collision protection systems are many, 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 many years away from functioning. So you're all slammed around inside the interior of this thing. Now let's roll initiative. What will Chef Coney? You can just see it. The others are just holding on for dear life on the A-pillars and stuff in the car. What do you wish to do?
Well, I don't have anything that I can do until we get closer. So, I'll say, get closer.
Okay.
I'll look around from the side of the compartment so I could try to see where we're going.
Somebody be useful and take a shot.
Okay. Let's go ahead and roll initiative then. And Todd, roll initiative.
All righty, here we go. Red dice, don't fail me now. Ooh, I rolled a 5.
Okay, it's an initiative tie, but given how damaged it is, you go first. Your vibroblade just slices right through this thing. So I'm guessing you didn't slice the floor out so you'd fall. You cut the top out so you could climb out, right?
Right.
Okay, yeah. So you cut the top out, and there's just this cluster of cameras that's sort of barely hanging on an arm, sort of focuses down on you, and you see that hose pipe thing reaching up to point down at you.
This is not your day.
You are awake. You are awake, so you don't have to take this, and it is moving. So, your armor class is 3, correct?
My armor class is 4, but Bogo will initiate his personal force field.
Okay. All right. And that's the mutation, right? You're not wearing a little suit of power armor?
No. That's his mutation.
Okay. So let's see. Does a force field stop a chemical weapon attack? Because it's spraying you again. Well, it's trying to spray you again. We're about to find out.
But my AC is 4.
I gotcha.
It puts the plastic around its skin, or it gets the hose again.
Put Bogo in corner. No one does.
It's got a cork board and pins and a scalpel back at the ranger station for you. Let's see.
But will they have picnic baskets back at the ranger station? That's the important question.
Through which physical objects may not pass. Well, gas or liquid, the spray is a physical object. So yeah, you're able to. You can faintly smell it, but it's just like furiously hosing you with this pale greenish spray or liquid. Like you can see, just like around you, little insects that have come out at night are just like dropping dead as you fly through the forest. So it's a new round. Let's get declarations, even though numbers will go first. What is Chef Coney? You still hoping to get closer?
Yeah, I'm gonna burn it.
Okay, numbers. You're just trying to get closer.
Yeah, that's it. I'm just trying to maintain control of the car and keep it in one or a couple of pieces or whatever.
Okay, Bogo, what are you doing?
Bogo's going to go all psycho spider monkey with a lightsaber.
Gotcha. Well, Kevin, roll initiative for us.
All right.
You guys will probably go first.
I rolled a 2.
It is an initiative tie.
Of course. Of course.
Okay. It is now bringing a different implement to bear, and it is like hitting you can feel it. You can sense things touching the outside of your force field, and it is touching the outside of your force field with this. It has pushed a round hollow tube directly onto Bogo. But you guys are going to go simultaneously. What is Numbers Rab doing before any of this happens?
Yeah, is it well, I know I'm driving. Is it something where I can like stop and shoot, or do I just need to maintain control of the vehicle?
You know what? On a 1 through 3, you're in a clear enough space where you could stop and might have a clear shot. Yes, you can stop the vehicle and take a shot at it now if you wish.
Yeah, I'll stop the vehicle on this embankment or whatever, and reach around outside the driver's side of the door and take a shot at this thing.
All right.
Ooh, 4.
That will miss. Bogo, make your attack.
All righty, here we go. I'm going to use the green 20-sided dice. May the force be with me. Ooh, and I rolled a 3. The force is not with me.
The force is not with you. Yeah, it just kind of bats your hand away. Shevkoni, the vehicle stops, and there is now an open area of forest that this thing is moving through. Do you wish to try and zap it again?
Yeah, I will if I can.
Roll your damage.
Two damage this round.
That is enough to fuse whatever is left in it, and it just kind of falls to the ground, which is good because it uses its cutting laser and is trying to peel open the force field around Bogo. And that does 2 dice of damage for 7 points total.
Now, how many points? How many points does my force field have?
Well, it varies day to day. So let's see. Today, that's 13. Today, it's 21, and you have lost 7 points.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so the EcoBot crashes to the ground, falls over on its side. Bogo, you can execute a perfect little Yoda Jedi tumble out of the vehicle.
Absolutely. Captain Kirk
Or out of the bucket, rather. A Captain Kirk roll out of the bucket. And yeah, you can see Bogo's vibroblade there in his tiny little hand, and this thing falls over and is not moving anymore.
All right, I'm going to leave the car stopped and get out and approach it and see if there's anything to salvage.
Alrighty. It is fairly burnt. We're going to call this difficult tech usage because of how... Well, actually, you guys just brought it to the exact amount of damage to shut it down. So, I tell you what, we'll go with chart B, and we're going to treat this as looking for salvageable components. And you can keep going until you hit a fatal or a damage effect, and that means that you just can't find any more parts. So roll a d10.
All right. 6.
Okay. Roll again. That you're opening some ports and whatnot.
7.
All right. You think you've opened a door that's useful, but it appears that there's just kind of moving rods with strange snaky pipes, and if you can't really move any of those, roll again.
10.
Yeah, it's more of the same. Give me another roll.
2.
All right, you're able to wrench open a couple more panels and are into a more electronics and cybernetics area away from the mechanical parts. Give me another.
7.
And opening the next panel, you find yourself staring at more mechanical parts.
Another one is a 4.
Okay, you're able to get you're able to get a component out of that, and let's see what exactly that is.
Be something good.
We'll roll on the artifacts table and see what you get. Within reason, you're not going to find a torque grenade in there. Yeah, the U.S. Forestry Service gave disintegration grenades to all of their robots.
Yeah, I'd be happy to find a bank of hydrogen cells.
Just as God intended.
Bogo's got me wasting shots.
All right, let's see. All right, so it is. I'm just going to straight up go with it is a miscellaneous energy device. So we'll roll a d12 on that. That is a 7. And these are in. Oh, I need to be rolling 2d6. That's why. Okay, you push on a panel and something pops out into your hands. It is a metal box that you can obviously open with ease. These must have been intended for someone who was meant to control or work with this, a pure strain human in the past, because you are holding what appear to be a set of paired lenses that are almost fish-eyed in appearance that have a flexible strap that connect them, a long flexible strap that looks like it has an adjustment on it. And you have seen people with these before.
Yeah, so are there any buttons on it or anything like that?
Yes, there are.
Right. Well, I'll go ahead and put it over my head, being that it's safe to assume that that's where it goes, to look through it.
Okay. We are on the simple chart, so roll a d10.
That's a 1.
Okay, yeah, you press a button and they go from black to you can see straight through them. Roll again.
2.
The dim light of the late evening turns into a daylight clarity.
Wow.
Let's try again.
Oh, another 1.
Wow.
These low ones are good.
Yeah, now when they maintain that clarity, but you kind of double click a button there on the side, and now you can see in the near distance at about the same range you could see before, little glowing spots And you realize that it's the movement of small insects and animals around you in the woods.
Brilliant.
And go ahead and give me one more.
2.
Yeah, you have
that die for the next time.
you have completely figured these out. These are UV IR goggles that
Okay,
were
and I
being.
know how to turn them off and stuff.
Yes, you know exactly how to use them now.
All right. Hey, there might be more stuff over here. Why don't y'all come take a look?
Bogo will cautiously approach this thing.
All right, so your now awake friends are standing. They're standing guards. They are eyes out because you guys made a hell of a lot of noise. Chasing this thing down. Does anybody else want to try any scavenging rolls?
I'll try as well,
Bogo
if I
will.
can.
All right. Go ahead, give me a D10 roll.
Go ahead, Baggy. You go first.
Okay. I'll start looking.
Your defective brain, what does that do?
Well, I don't know. That's left to the game master as far as the docs go. When that takes place and what it does.
I think we should save that for a special occasion.
Yeah,
so
of
it's
course.
going to impact right now. Go ahead and roll.
Yeah, I did. I got a 10.
Okay, yeah, you're like pushing and pulling, and nothing's really. It's just rapidly cooling bits of scrap metal. You're not finding anything interesting. No rocket pack or anything pops out. You want to try again?
I'll try once. I got a 3. So
You got a 3. Okay, so yeah, you're able to get a little bit deeper into this thing's metallic carapace and give it another shot.
9. I'm gonna back away and say, this isn't for me.
It's gears, it's hydraulic rams. There's just like unidentifiable solid metal blocks that make your fingers tingle when you touch. You're like, you know what? I'm just gonna not.
Yeah, I'm backing off. Absolutely.
Okay. Bogo.
Yes. Rolling the old D10. And have fun with this. I rolled a 9.
Yeah, it's just you're just poke. You want to keep trying?
Yeah, might as well.
All right, give it another shot.
5.
Okay, yeah, you're able to open up a couple panels. There are wiring harnesses and cables and so on. You can now trace that are leading places. This thing's so big, like you could climb inside it, and like if there were passages through it big enough and walk around in here, but you don't quite see anything that interesting yet. Roll again.
A 1.
Okay, yeah, you've got some. There's a little card cage. That's kind of damaged, but maybe there's some interesting components in that section. Roll again.
Alrighty. 3.
Okay, you've got you're getting into the place of salvageable parts. Go ahead and roll again.
All right, come on, Bogo. Don't Bogo it now. 2.
Are you for real?
Yeah.
Okay. No, I believe you. Okay, so yeah, there's a bank of small containers of some kind in here. Roll one more time.
Oh God, this is where Bogo blows up. Get ready, guys.
They're not the containers he was stored in, right?
No.
Okay.
That's what I was expecting.
Plastic
4.
for invasive species 4. Yeah, you're not able to get any of them open, but you can keep trying if you want.
Okay, you know what? I'm a sucker. I can't resist not pushing a button.
That's fine.
6.
Yeah, that panel snaps shut, like pulls out of your fingers and snaps shut. You give it another try.
Okay, yeah, last one. And I rolled a 10. So there's that.
Yeah, whatever you did, another access panel rolls down and you pull your hands away just before, it can injure you. So you're not finding anything unless brightly colored wires are your jam.
Huh. Brightly colored wires, eh? Yeah. I'll just start ripping them things out.
Fair enough. All right. So you yank a few bundles of wires out, and it doesn't protest. So you've now got like twin handfuls of ribbon cables and fiber optic leads and all that sort of thing, with all the connectors broken off or bent to uselessness. But you have them.
Well, maybe people back at the base can use the actual, like maybe wiring inside or something, or can use them to splice or something.
Yeah, it's maybe. Alrighty, so you've got your prizes. Doomsword Numbers now has night vision goggles. Chevconi, you have new friends. You've got that.
And I made
what's
friends
his
on
deal?
the way.
Does he have any weapons?
I do not.
I mean, you don't have any weapons.
Well, I have mutations.
Right. I don't know if we have anything in the car. I think we split up the hydrogen. I think there may have been a couple hydrogen cells, but I don't know what's in there for like pistols or rifles or anything like that.
I think you guys. This is Game Master recollection. I think you guys had simple weapons that you quickly gave over for, bolt throwers and blasters and such. I seem to recall metal spears, but I could be wrong about that.
Right, and I know I gave away my regular sword to that kid lizard. Yeah, I've got a blaster rifle that's has 3 charges left, and I've got a vibro blade that's full, and then I have no more hydrogen cells. I mean,
Actually,
I give up one of those things.
You should have 2 other hydrogen things, because we all had 3.
Yeah, but mine uses that Mark 7 blaster rifle uses 2 at a time, and you only get 5 shots out of 2.
Well,
yeah.
Bogo
I had a bunch and blew through them.
Bogo still has two extra. He'll just give them to you.
Remember, your vibro blade requires energy too.
Right.
Right. It takes 1, and you get 10 stabs or whatever out of that.
Oh, okay. Well, crap.
Let me see. Vibro. Let's see.
Though yeah, I've not been doing much stabbing with it lately, so.
You haven't. Is it still active, by the way?
Or did you? I turned it off after Captain Kirk rolled.
Okay, so the vibro blade is 20 minutes per hydrogen energy cell, and you really only used it for like 2 minutes. So you've still got 18 minutes left on the current cell.
Yeah, I'll just go ahead and give you the 2 extra energy things that I have, and then because Bogo's not too handy with the vibro blade, I'll continue to use it sparingly until I can find something a little more suited to him.
All right, if that's the case, I'll give up my vibro blade to Chevconi.
The old baggy.
Yeah.
Can I get some tutelage on how it works?
Yeah, so you just press this right here, and then you just swing it.
Yeah, I mean it's fairly simple. Since you're being shown how to do it by someone who can use it, we won't have to go through the tree. It's different as if you found one in a cabinet somewhere and nobody in the party had seen it. So,
all right.
Yeah, and that's got a fresh cell in it, so that hasn't been used.
So there you go. That is 20 minutes of use. Which is effectively that's 20 combat rounds that you can use it.
Yeah, and I've taken it off my sheet.
Alrighty.
Right.
Now let's see. So as you guys are standing over the robotic carcass, picking through it and trading around weapons. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Another FWC officer.
Yeah, no.
It's two mutant bears looking for our picnic baskets.
All right. Have you still got the goggles on, Numbers?
Yeah, I don't think I took them off.
Okay, about 60 meters away at the edge of this clearing that your car is parked on, some 8-10 meters off the ground, like almost oversaturating the goggles, you see 4 flying shapes flapping towards you. You are not surprised, and neither is the rest of the party.
We got company, boys. Hop in.
These are you all recognize these. These are Blash. These are radioactive moths. And they are moving towards you at a good clip. Numbers, you will act first. What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm gonna hop in the vehicle.
Okay. Let's get declarations and then we'll roll initiative for everyone else. What is Bogo doing?
Bogo's jumping in the car.
Okay.
Hazard style.
And Jeff Coney, again, you know what these are.
Yep. Okay, yeah, I get in the compartment where I belong.
All right. Let's go ahead then and roll initiative. We'll just start at the top. Even though you can act first, Numbers, go ahead and roll initiative for the rest of the party.
5.
All right. You guys can act first. You're behind the wheel, Numbers. You are turning and getting out of there ASAP.
Yeah, post haste.
All right. Roll a d10, please.
7.
Okay, yeah, it is a bumpy ride, but with your dexterity and the fact that you came this way, you're able to stay just ahead of these things. And once you're ahead of them, you don't know if they're following you because they're only a meter wide, so you can't exactly hear them flapping. But yeah, you get up to the ancient ruined road, and you can go back the way you came, or back south towards home.
So back the right. So the way that I was going initially was towards home, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, for it.
Alrighty.
Any cigarettes?
Bogo hands Numbers one of these wires.
toss it out the window.
All right, so yeah, you are you've got the hammer down and you are moving away as fast as you can. You glance up in one of the still functional rear view cameras and zooming out onto the road and kind of hovering over it angrily, but not really pursuing you. You see just a few glowing dots of these things as you drive away back towards the safety of your own stronghold.
Oh, we barely made it out of that one, boys.
Yeah, I mean, Blash basically emit an 18 damage radiation pulse until you die, and then they eat you. They don't leave a lot for the life ray to attempt to bring back.
Just as God intended.
Oh my gosh. All right. So
I'm going to ask Numbers to let me out before we get into the local area so I could approach on foot. And maybe there's some warnings or other things that could be said before,
Yeah, once we get a little closer, I'll stop.
Yeah. So there is an instant anger.
okay, so it is going to take you guys a good while. I mean, it was a couple of days drive up here. Yeah, okay, so if anyone is interested in a BOGO 3D print, we'll have to figure out what this thing looks like, so not Yoda, and maybe we'll offer it up for sale on a limited print run. But anyway, so with that said, you are cruising down the highway, and we will rejoin the group next week to see what other interesting encounters you have on the road again. I would like to thank very much, as long as it has jorts. Yes, we will give it jorts, obviously. I'd like to thank our audience for hanging out tonight. It was a lot of fun getting back to actually playing a game. I hope you guys will all stop by on Tuesday when we play some AD&D. Thank you to my players for being here.
Thank you.
And let's pick up and do this again next Friday. Monday, more Deities and Demigods. Tuesday, more Deities and Demigods, and first edition AD&D. Wednesday, if Kyle's feeling up to it, hopefully he will be completely over the weather. People say under the weather. He will be over the weather. We will be back to Classic Traveler, and then Thursday, some AD&D chitter chatter, and then Friday we'll be right back here on Gamma World fighting mutants and robots and radioactive moths. So until then, you guys have an absolutely wonderful evening. And remember, I love you all. I absolutely do. Look out for game positivity videos coming soon from yours truly on this very channel. Peace, everybody. Have a lovely evening.
Bye-bye.